right, let's take you live here now where the funeral service for Bafana Bafana and Mamelodi Sundowns star Jayden Adams is currently underway in Stellenbosch. Adams died on the 11th of July at the age of just 25, just weeks after representing South Africa at the FIFA World Cup. His death sent shockwaves across the country. So fellow Sundowns and Bafana Bafana teammates say they will honour Adams' legacy. And particularly, let me go to SABC News anchor Oliver Dickson, and let's take you live to where he is, where the funeral service is taking place. Oliver, we're talking about a legacy, and so many of his teammates and those who worked or played alongside him, talking about a legacy of someone just at 25. To reach such milestones just at the age of 25 to play for your country, not everybody gets that opportunity. What a life lost at such a young age.
Yeah, no, certainly, Griselda. Coming to you live here from the Kutzenberg Center at Stellenbosch University, where friends, family and players, former, past and present, are here to mourn the life of Jayden Adams. We know that he began his career at Mamelodi Sundowns in 2025, having transferred from Stellenbosch FC, and of course the community of Stellenbosch mourns him collectively, but so does the Mamelodi Sundowns community. In fact, I want to bring into the conversation now Diane Mabunda, former player of Mamelodi Sundowns. What a life, man, that we've lost so soon. What is it that stood out for you about the life on and off the field of Jayden Adams that you will remember today?
Yeah, a sad reality that we have to live with. Jayden was a superstar. I used to call him. You just marvel at the ice in his brain, ice in his feet, that he never gets under pressure. You'll wonder that he's never in a position where he gets under pressure. But he's a person that has really impacted a lot of people. As you can also see that the supporters are also out in numbers, coming from all over the country, also coming to pay their respects because what a talent we've lost.
Yeah. When you watched him play, and he was only 25 years old. What did his style of play look like to you that told you about where his future might be going on the field?
Yeah, you'd really wonder at the level of talent at his age. The boy was able to bring the game under his control at any given point in time. And finding it at such a young age, the confidence, the ability to dictate the play, whether it's quicker or whether it's slower, and whether there's pressure or not, he remains the same. And it's a talent that we definitely were looking forward to seeing going further and further. One of the prospects that South Africa has actually brought, and we were robbed, actually, yeah.
In fact, just as you speak about that, I'm thinking back to that game against South Korea where he played, and of course, Tebogo Mokoena couldn't play in that game because of that yellow card. Jayden was quite pivotal in conducting that midfield, rhythm and pace. What do you remember from that game and watching his performance there?
Like I said earlier, that he's a person that never feels to be under pressure. And like you say, against South Korea, coming in after Tebza had a stellar game, what a game he had, and being required to fill in the shoes at the stage of football, and he stands in with confidence, and when it's time to fight, he knows how to fight. When it's time to play, he knows how to play. And at that level, at the World Cup, being able to stand out and be counted amongst the greats of the tournament in the midfield, it's not easy. Globally, there are so many great midfielders, but we were proud to be able to have him stepping in and showing us that he's able to. That when it's time to fight, he can go, he can get his stuck in there. But it's a short career that was definitely looked forward for, and I strongly believe that there was definitely more. Many people were celebrating his recent performances, but you could tell that there is something he's actually unlocking in his game that would definitely be a benefit to South African football, even globally.
Yeah, Mamelodi Sundowns has another star on its crest right now, and in no small part due to Jayden as well. Reflect on that as well.
Yeah, being part of that, being being part of the success that Mamelodi Sundowns has recently acquired in getting the second star. Him being there makes it even more sweeter because I've been there in that same position, also fighting for the club to get the first star, and seeing the next generation also coming about and rising to the occasion, and him being there's a picture that is trending on social media where his face is within one of the opponent's face within the campaign. Ronwen Williams was actually speaking about it. That shows you of the level of fire that he had in his eyes and the desire to be a champion. Coming to Mamelodi Sundowns and already stamping your position in the starting lineup, it's not an easy feat. I took 3 years, but he only took a few months. That shows you of the quality that he had and the ability to rise to the occasion, especially in a club like Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah. Tiane, thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. That is former Mamelodi Sundowns player Tiane Mabunda reflecting there on the life of Jayden Adams, Griselda. Behind me in the hall, as you can see, those who are here to mourn the life of Jayden are making their way into the venue here at the Kutzenberg Center. It's fast filling up, and moments from now the funeral proceedings will begin. The body of Jayden Adams had made its way through the front entrance of this building earlier on with the children who you saw just in our shot moments ago from the school that Jayden Adams went to. They formed a guard of honor as his body made its way into the building for viewing by the family. But for now, Griselda, back to you.
Oliver, thank you very much indeed. And seeing, some of those players that he played alongside, really paying tribute to him. Such a young life lost, really coming to a shock as the country. Let's just give you a bit about Jayden Adams. Of course, you would know where the funeral service is taking place is where the midfielder grew up. And according to his mother, Candace, Jayden had developed a love for the game from a very early age, remembering how, he would kick around everything in the house. And, to quote what she said, he kicked everything in the house. Even the potatoes never lasted because he kicked them around. I mean, that's how his mother had recalled his early passion, kicking around potatoes. And reportedly, Jayden, was the first graduate to sign a professional contract with Stellenbosch Football Club. That's in 2020, if you'd recall, going on to become the club's most valuable player, we understand. And just looking, at his early life and rise, signing for Stellenbosch, that's in 2020. His debut for Bafana Bafana in 2022. And, of course, the CAF Confederations Cup qualification in 2024. I mean, if you just look at what he, how at such a young age, just at 25, he was able to achieve so much in his footballing career is really astounding. And I think that's what's going to be celebrated about him today. His contribution, of course, to the country. You'd recall in 2022, Jayden had earned his first senior call-up for the South African national football team, playing twice at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. The Belgian head coach, of course, Hugo Broos's team, you'd recall. And Broos and Jayden, would later fall out, we understand, after the player arrived late for the national team camp in 2024. And as punishment, Jayden was left out for a full year. And that was between March 2025 to March 2026. I think there'll be so many reflections, on and off the football pitch, the good times and the bad times, a young person rising to so much glory and fame and playing for his country. Jayden, however, you would recall, was called up for country duty ahead of the 2026 World Cup. Really on the international stage as well, you'd recall, there had been tribute to him after news of his passing, was announced, while, of course, many were in awe of, how Bafana Bafana had played to their hearts out at the World Cup. And, of course, every single one of them making a contribution to the success of the national team and how far in the stages they got in the World Cup. All right, that was just to give you a glimpse of the life of such a young football player and all that he has achieved within the 25 years that he was spared or given to us, and the role that he played here in South Africa, rising to the highest ranks in football in this country.